Hey, what's up YouTube? Tac Dad for life. Today I'm doing a video on appendix carry, which is how I carry and why I decided to switch and what my thoughts are so far. So stay tuned. So appendix carry. There are a lot of people, again, who say, if you carry up there, it's pointed at your femoral artery, or if you're a guy, it's pointed at other things that you wouldn't want to get shot off. So why would anyone in their right mind want to do it? Well, for 4 years, I carried behind the back in the waistband at the 4 o'clock position, which was fine, didn't think anything of it. Started hearing more about this appendix carry idea, and I was one of the people who thought, why in the world would anyone in their right mind want to do that? So first off, I'm wearing just a t-shirt, fairly fitted, and yet here I have both my XDS 9mm and an extra mag here in the Alien Gear mag holster, and it's very comfortable. I can sit down, squat down, tie my shoes, do whatever I want. I can bend over to do something, not worrying about printing right here, which is something I always used to have to worry about. And I can sit down and, whatever. So it's very easy to conceal, and for me it is extremely comfortable. Depending on your body type, you may have to play around with different holsters. I use a T-Rex Arms Raptor holster for my XDS, which is awesome. I have a separate review on that holster, and for the mag carrier, I'm using currently the Alien Gear mag holster, which again, I have a separate review on that. Some holsters you'll see if you're just starting to look into appendix carry will have in one holster the mag and the gun kind of holster right in the same piece of Kydex. The reason I didn't do that as a guy, if I'm going to use the restroom publicly and I'm standing up at a urinal, there's a big chunk of Kydex right there in the middle and I can't go to the bathroom. Versus the way I have it now, I have one on each side and there's just enough space so that I can use a urinal in the public restroom. So sorry if that's TMI, but as a guy, that's something that we have to think about. So that's part of why I didn't go with, like, for example, the T-Rex Arms sidecar. Eventually I may want to check it out just to see how it works. But for me, this current carry system works pretty well. So why did I switch? I'm going to post a separate clip showing the different draw speeds for one. It was between 1.3, 1.4 seconds in terms of from standing, clearing my garment, drawing the firearm, getting on target, pulling the trigger, compared to 2 seconds flat when it's behind the back and having to reach back here to clear and to get access to my firearm. So the speed of the draw is definitely faster in the appendix position. Also, if I'm ever in an actual fight, if anything were to happen, maybe I don't have to draw the firearm right now. But if something were to happen, we're rolling around and they can see that there's a gun there, they can grab it and it's much harder for me to defend versus coming in here, I can defend it much more easily and retain control of the firearm much more easily if I'm rolling around or doing whichever in an actual fight, which who knows what could happen. So that was a big part of it, why I decided to switch as I learned more about it. Then there's also people saying, well, if you have a malfunction, or not malfunction necessarily, but if you accidentally have the firearm go off, you're going to shoot yourself. And that's the kind of scary reality that I think helps make sure that people are careful in what they're doing and make sure they practice. One thing people don't realize is that, and this is a loaded firearm, that's how I carry it, but fingers off the trigger, which that's how it should be. When you're drawing it, fingers off the trigger anyway. From behind the back, a lot of people end up covering themselves when they're drawing and then positioning towards a target, and a lot of people don't realize that they're doing that. When it comes to drawing and reholstering, being that this is a Kydex holster, once it's in the holster, nothing's going to make the trigger depress or go off. So it's really just in drawing up, orienting. And then when it comes to reholstering, as long as your garment's clear, fingers off the trigger, if you kind of lean back a little bit, this gun isn't necessarily covering myself, it's pointed that way. For me, I have the XDS, so that has the grip safety as well. So when I'm holstering, I don't really have to worry about that too much, but drawing and reholstering are the only times we have to worry about it going off, and you just need to make sure you're careful about it and practicing good trigger control or trigger discipline, making sure that your finger isn't on the trigger unless you're ready to push it, to pull the trigger. So yes, there is that, I guess, added risk, though if you are careful about it and practice, I don't really see that as being an issue anyway. So there you have it. That's my review of Appendix Carry, a little bit about why I switched. If you have questions or comments, please post below. And as always, thumbs up and subscribe.